The first thing that you do when you start building a website utilizing CQ is you simply create a project. So we're going to create a project and we're going to use CRXDE Lite that we examined in the last video to actually build out this project. So here I am on the front page of CQ5 and I'm just going to click on CRXDE Lite here. And this is going to open up the browser-based integrated development environment. So in the apps directory, okay, you'll see, for example, here's my Geometrics and my Geometrics Outdoors site that we examined earlier. Let's create our own unique site here. So select the apps folder right here. And inside of the apps folder, just say create folder. And let's just call this training for now. Adobe recommends a certain structure for your site. So highlight training here. And let's create that structure. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create another folder. And I'm going to call this folder components, like so. Okay, and this is where we're going to store all of our components. Whether those components are page components and they render content from the repository, or whether they're content components where authors create those inside of the Sidekick. And so let's create two different directories to store each one of those components. So in the components directory, just select create folder again, and create one for your page components, which will render content from the repository onto the page. Okay, and then make sure you highlight components again and create another folder in here. And let's call this content. And these, of course, will be the components that are in the Sidekick that we examined earlier. So there you have content and page. And then highlight the training directory again and create another folder in here called source. Okay, and you want that even with the components. So you can collapse the components folder and you should have the source. Now the source directory is where we're going to put all of our OSGI bundles that's going to contain the business logic for our actual website. We're going to look at how to do that later on in this video series. So I'm going to highlight training again and I'm going to create another folder in here called install, where we'll store some of our base install files. Okay, and then I'm going to create another folder in here called templates. So again, I'm going to say create folder, and I'm going to say templates. Now, if you remember, when we looked at sort of the authoring side, the templates is what defines the look and the feel of each page that an author creates. Remember when we went into Geometrics and we said new page, it automatically had the navigation bar, the breadcrumb, certain different paragraphing systems. That's all defined inside of the templates. And the templates will take content and again render that content utilizing a JSP. And that's what we're going to explore next, is how to actually build those templates. So your training structure, your website structure should look like this. You have the training project or application, you have components, and inside of that components we have both the content directory to store our content components that are in the Sidekick, and then we have our page rendering components here, then we have our install directory, then we have our source directory for our OSGI bundles, and then we have the templates directory. Now remember, one of the key things here is in CRXDE Lite, none of this is actually saved back to the repository unless you come up here and click Save All. So click Save All, and that will save everything that you've done and created inside of the repository. Okay, thank you.